Injured Shedeur Sanders' heroic camp effort dismissed as Kevin Stefanski focuses elsewhere. The fire that Shedeur Sanders lit in Cleveland during training camp might be flickering, but it hasn't been extinguished just yet. In a training camp riddled with injuries, missed reps, quarterback controversies, and shifting narratives, Shedeur Sanders' story with the Cleveland Browns is beginning to look more like a Greek tragedy than a rookie fairy tale. Once celebrated as the face of Colorado football under his father, Coach Prime, the young quarterback now finds himself buried in a depth chart that seems more political than practical. But behind the headlines, something deeper is stirring. An emotional, gritty underdog tale of a player refusing to fade quietly into the Cleveland wind. Brick from hope to hurt, the Browns' QB battle turns chaotic. Just 2 days ago, NFL analysts across the country warned that the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition was spiraling into chaos. What started as a four-man race to determine the franchise's next signal caller has now turned into a survival match. And Shedeur Sanders, once at the heart of the conversation, is now fighting to be remembered. Veteran Browns legend Bernie Kosar didn't hesitate to voice his concern. During a candid appearance on 92.3 The Fan, Kosar reminded fans and coaches alike that rushing a quarterback, especially one as young as Sanders or fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel, could spell disaster. His words, coming from a man who once carried Cleveland on his shoulders, hit like a thunderclap through the team's practice facility. It was a stern reminder. Progress must be earned, not rushed. Collision Dillon Gabriel's collapse. He's not an NFL quarterback, not right now. If Kosar's words were a warning, Friday's practice made them prophetic. Under the blinding sun of Berea, Dillon Gabriel experienced a brutal, confidence-shattering performance. The rookie quarterback managed just 3 of 14 completions during team drills, many of them overthrown to wide-open receivers who could do nothing but watch the ball sail hopelessly into empty air. Daryl Reuter of 92.3 The Fan didn't sugarcoat the disaster. He's not an NFL quarterback. Not right now, Reuter said flatly. His tone as sharp as it was certain. He's rolling out and can't hit guys wide open. At times, he's not that good in the warm-up periods. The critique wasn't personal. It was honest. It was professional. It was damning. And yet, despite Gabriel's struggles, Shedeur Sanders didn't see a bump up the depth chart. Instead, his situation remained stagnant, even as Cleveland's quarterback room slowly became a medical ward. Police car light quarterback room in ruins. Injuries changed the game. The Browns' quarterback carousel isn't just unstable. It's now breaking down physically. Veteran Kenny Pickett has been sidelined with a nagging hamstring injury, missing his 6th straight day of 11 on 11 drills. Gabriel followed suit with reported hamstring tightness, forcing him to sit out completely. And Sanders? He too was battling arm soreness, causing some missed reps that may have affected his standing. But while the others faded, Sanders returned. Monday morning saw him back on the practice field, sleeves rolled up and focus dialed in. There were no complaints, just action, grit, leadership, the stuff that wins locker rooms. Yet the only person not fully convinced seemed to be head coach Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski, every day, you learn something new. Asked whether he anticipated the sudden wave of injuries derailing his quarterback competition, Stefanski was candid. No, I didn't, he admitted. Every day you learn something new. All those guys are working hard. Injuries are part of this game. And that was it. No praise for Sanders' return. No acknowledgement of Gabriel's collapse. No hint that the depth chart might soon reflect what was actually happening on the field. Instead, Stefanski seemed to double down on the plan, even if the plan was unraveling in front of him. Chart decreasing the depth chart dagger, Sanders listed forth. Then came the moment that knocked the air out of the Sanders camp. When Cleveland released its first official training camp depth chart, Shedeur Sanders' name appeared dead last. 4th string. Below Joe Flacco. Below Kenny Pickett. Even below Dillon Gabriel, yes, the same quarterback who missed the day with tightness and just delivered one of the worst practice performances in recent memory. For Sanders, who had already battled a draft day freefall from projected top 3 pick to 5th round afterthought, it felt like another insult. Another moment when perception trumped performance. But he's not folding. Flexed biceps Sanders mentality, heroic effort, no recognition. Since the moment he arrived in Cleveland, Sanders has fought with everything he's got. From intense film study to commanding huddles with a veteran's poise, the rookie from Colorado has impressed teammates and surprised doubters. His throws have had zip. His footwork has been steady. His decision-making, mature. Yet somehow that hasn't been enough to shift the narrative inside the building, at least not yet. Mantelpiece clock, the clock is ticking. Carolina preseason opener could flip the script. If Sanders ever needed a breakthrough moment, it's Friday. Cleveland's preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers might be the turning point in Sanders' NFL journey. While starters like Pickett or Flacco might play limited snaps, Sanders, buried deep enough on the chart to be overlooked, could see more time on the field than expected. And with time comes opportunity. It's a moment that could reshape everything. One highlight reel touchdown, one surgical drive, one sideline pass threaded between defenders could force Stefanski and the rest of the Browns front office to face a harsh truth. They may have buried their most promising quarterback under layers of outdated assumptions. Repeat button, the Huntley factor, insurance or obstacle. Just as Sanders seemed poised to climb back into the spotlight, the Browns pulled a veteran card, re-signing Tyler Huntley. Familiar with the Browns system and respected in league circles, Huntley is a dependable option. But to many, his return signals something else. Cleveland's lack of confidence in their rookie trio, and possibly a preference to play it safe. With Pickett and Gabriel injured, and Flacco carrying the reps, Huntley's return clogs the pipeline Sanders was fighting to ascend. Was Huntley signed to back up Flacco, or to leapfrog Sanders altogether? The move sent ripples through the locker room and headlines across the league. Exploding head politics over performance? To those watching closely, a harsh reality is starting to surface. Performance doesn't always win in the NFL. Politics, experience, and legacy often cloud the judgment of those making decisions. Sanders, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Coach Prime Sanders, came into the league with expectations sky-high and a media spotlight few rookies endure. But instead of building him up, it feels like the NFL establishment has chosen to test him more than any other quarterback in his class. Even in Cleveland, where he's shown discipline, toughness, and improvement, he's getting boxed out of opportunity. Chart increasing underdog energy. Why Sanders might still win this. But here's the twist. Sanders thrives in adversity. It's in his DNA. This isn't the first time he's been doubted. It's not the first time he's had to prove that he's more than a name. He's built for these moments. Quiet storms, loud actions. If the Browns think a fourth-string label will discourage him, they've misread the man. And while Stefanski and the front office sort through what's real and what's reactionary, Sanders will keep stacking plays, stacking wins in the film room, and when his moment comes, make it impossible to look away. American football final thoughts. Is Stefanski misplaying the hand? With the quarterback room in flux and injuries rewriting daily scripts, Stefanski has a decision to make. Cling to status quo or embrace the possibility that greatness sometimes hides behind depth chart numbers. Shedeur Sanders may be injured, he may be young, but he's already displayed more fight than some veterans ever show. Friday is coming, Carolina is waiting, and all eyes will be on number 14. Because in a camp full of disappointments, politics, and setbacks, maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders is the Browns' best hope, and they don't even realize it yet. Browns gamble on Dillon Gabriel backfires as Shedeur Sanders returns to shift QB battle. 2 weeks into Cleveland Browns training camp, the quarterback carousel has started to spin in a way that's catching national attention. This time, not for flashes of brilliance, but for what appears to be a costly misstep by head coach Kevin Stefanski. The Browns' ambitious early decision to give rookie Dillon Gabriel an extended run with the starters is beginning to unravel, and fast. What began as an aggressive, forward-thinking experiment now feels like a cautionary tale in the making. Stefanski's gamble on Gabriel was bold. Some would say visionary. He handed the third-round pick early reps, hoping to accelerate his development and give him a genuine shot at winning the backup quarterback role behind Deshaun Watson. Instead, that confidence might have come too early, too fast, and now it's returning few rewards. A harsh reality hits at camp. The harsh reality hit hardest during the team's practice sessions on August 1st and 2nd. Gabriel posted a shocking 3 of 14 performance in team drills on Friday. Passes sailing wide, missing open receivers, and showing none of the sharpness coaches hoped to develop. On Saturday, things got worse. Just 1 of 6 in his next opportunity. Momentum, poise, and timing, all gone missing. The problem wasn't just statistical, it was visual. Each drill seemed more like survival than progression. What was intended to be a springboard moment is now turning into a wall, and it just got higher. The injury setback. On Monday, August 4th, Kevin Stefanski confirmed that Dillon Gabriel is dealing with hamstring tightness and will be limited in team drills going forward. Though minor on the surface, the implications are massive. Browns HC Kevin Stefanski shares that Dillon Gabriel is dealing with a little tightness in his hamstring and will be limited today, reported Spencer German on X. Shedeur Sanders was dealing with that shoulder soreness, but is back. Gabriel will participate in some team drills. It's a 1-2 punch for Gabriel. Not only is he struggling on the field, but now his ability to even stay on the field is in question. A quarterback in desperate need of repetition and rhythm can't afford time off the field, let alone while his top competitor is gaining ground. Shedeur Sanders returns with purpose. If there was any silver lining for Browns fans rooting for competition, it came in the form of Shedeur Sanders. After sitting out with shoulder soreness, Sanders has returned to full strength, just in time to retake his share of reps. For Stefanski, the return of Sanders may ultimately render the Gabriel experiment a failed detour. Sanders, who had impressed early in camp, now has a clean path to reassert himself. And unlike Gabriel, he's not carrying the weight of inconsistency or injury. Instead, he's carrying a chip on his shoulder, born from being a 5th-round pick after a highly productive college career under his father, Coach Prime, at Colorado. The timing couldn't be more devastating for Gabriel. Just as reps become more meaningful and evaluations sharpen, he's being forced to slow down. Stefanski's risky bet. Let's be clear, this isn't just about a few bad practices or an injury. This is about a strategic gamble from Kevin Stefanski, one that was intended to show faith in a young quarterback and possibly uncover a gem. It's a familiar strategy in the NFL. Invest early, identify talent before the rest of the league, and reap the benefits. But Gabriel's performance hasn't justified the fast track. In fact, it's exposed a possible miscalculation in his NFL readiness. Instead of showcasing command of the offense, Gabriel's early reps have shown just how far he has to go. He's looked unpolished, out of sync, and, most concerning of all, hesitant. Now add a soft tissue injury to the mix, and the narrative becomes harder to reverse. In a league where availability is just as important as ability, Gabriel now finds himself in a dangerous spot, behind in performance and behind in physical readiness. Gabriel breaks his silence. After the troubling practices, Dillon Gabriel didn't shy away from addressing the media. His tone was honest and reflective. "You always want results," Gabriel said. "But more than anything, it's consistent results. If you don't have a process you can truly hang your hat on, then you're leaving it up to chance. Maybe it's more inconsistent, rather than having a strong process." It was a telling admission. The rookie acknowledged the highs and lows of camp and stressed the importance of sticking to a preparation routine. "There's a lot of positives, there may be some negatives," he explained. "But there's also something to pride yourself on, your process, how you work, how you approach it." Gabriel is focused on staying the course, but even he admitted that results matter. You want to see results and it will come, but it's a results-based business, so you've got to go do it. No excuses. Know what to do and do it. That's the approach. It's a mature outlook from a young quarterback. But the NFL rarely waits for development to catch up with desire. A race against the clock. Every day Gabriel spends rehabbing his hamstring or recovering from poor performance is another day Shedeur Sanders is winning favor in the eyes of the coaching staff. Sanders doesn't just bring a polished arm and mobility. He brings leadership, resilience, and a name that draws national media. The Browns, a team in desperate need of solidifying their quarterback room behind Deshaun Watson, now face a decision they were hoping to avoid. Who can be trusted if Watson goes down? It was supposed to be Joe Flacco or the rookie who emerged. But Flacco is in his twilight years, and Gabriel, at this rate, may not even be the second best option. Sanders, the media darling with the famous father, may now be the team's best chance at developing a future starter, and sooner than expected. NFL development, you can't rush it. Gabriel's struggles highlight a broader lesson that every NFL team must learn. Quarterback development is not something that can be microwaved. It takes time, patience, and carefully managed exposure. By giving Gabriel the starter treatment early in camp, Stefanski may have forced a process that needed more nurturing. Instead of lifting him, it may have overwhelmed him. The pressure, the reps, the scrutiny, it all adds up. And now, what should have been a building block summer is shaping into a potential confidence crusher. Gabriel must now work through injury, poor form, and the mental toll of underperformance, all while his top competitor is ascending. What comes next? As August marches on and preseason games near, the Browns will have no choice but to reevaluate their QB pecking order. If Shedeur Sanders can take advantage of his healthy return, build chemistry with receivers, and show poise in scrimmages, Stefanski may be forced to admit his original plan needs adjusting. Meanwhile, Gabriel must regroup quickly. Any further setbacks, physical or mental, could slide him out of the rotation entirely, at least for 2025. That's how quickly narratives shift in the NFL. The coming weeks could define both rookies' early careers. One is recovering physically and mentally. The other is eager to prove why his college stats weren't a fluke, why he belonged in the first round, and why his last name isn't just a story, it's a statement. Final thoughts. A pivotal decision for a franchise in flux. For Kevin Stefanski, this is more than just managing reps. It's about making a franchise-defining decision. Get it right, and the Browns could uncover a young quarterback who keeps them competitive for years. Get it wrong, and Cleveland could once again be labeled a team that mishandled talent at the most important position. Dylan Gabriel still has time to turn things around, but it's dwindling. His process-driven mindset will need to be paired with visible results soon. And if that doesn't happen, Shedeur Sanders will be waiting, shoulder healed, confidence growing, and ready to take over the reps once promised to someone else. The window is closing. The question is, who will sprint through it before it slams shut?